Come have a seat and sip some tea. It's tech, entertainment, and art.
Welcome, everyone, to Tea Talk. That's TEA Talk. Technology, Entertainment, and Art Talk. That's what it stands for. But we like to call it Tea Talk because it just sounds better. It also, gets us to play around with tea and whatnot. We drink tea when we record sometimes. We're going to do it like every time, but sometimes
it got difficult.
Drinking tea it just doesn't the time where we drink tea or where we want to drink our tea doesn't really align well to the times that we record. But anyway, so this is a podcast where we talk about technology, entertainment, and art. But really, we've said in the past that is a really wide net of things. And that's true, but also it's because a more accurate name for this podcast would be the Sean and Abdiel podcast, because we just talk about, it's just Sean and Abdiel talking about what they want to talk about. So,
hey, episode one's at like 140, 150 listeners, so it's getting up there. It's small beginnings.
Yeah. Well, by the time they listen to this podcast, it's going to be about 3 weeks from now. So thank you for listening. Thank you for, thank you for listening. Your time is precious. You could be listening to anything else out there. There's a lot of podcasts out there. So we appreciate you giving us a little bit of your time. We're gonna try and honor that and be as entertaining as we can possibly be. Okay, that's my promise. Okay, you got it. That's my promise to you.
I make no promises. I'm just present.
No, Sean, don't trust in Sean. Don't trust him. You can trust me though. Okay, we're gonna start. Let's begin with corrections, as the French like to call it. Do you have any corrections, Sean, or anything that you want to set straight from our previous episodes?
I have no corrections.
Wow, look at you with no corrections. I have some corrections of my own.
Let's hear them.
That was my wife, everybody. That you listen in the background, my wife doing the laundry. She's a very good wife, very hardworking. Okay, so what did I say? What did I say about corrections?
That you had a few.
Oh, actually, I don't have any corrections.
Oh, you don't?
I said that.
Okay.
So let's begin the show. Let's actually get right to the meat of the show. What's on your mind, Sean? Let's talk about what's on your mind.
Well, as you know, we're all trying to find content to absorb during this time of shelter in place.
Absolutely.
And one of the shows I stumbled across, I'm always looking for family-friendly content that's entertaining, was another show by Julian Fellows, which we've talked about him before. He worked on Downton Abbey, and we referenced him, I think, in episode 2 and 3 in regards to the English Game. Now, he has something on Amazon that he worked on, and it's called Dr. Thorne. Have you seen it?
No, I have not even heard of it.
Yeah,
tell me all about it, please.
It's actually a book that was written by Anthony Trollope, who apparently also invented the mailbox. Just random factoid there. It's a love story. It's presented in England in the 1800s. If you're a Fellows fan, this is right up his alley. Boy and girl love each other, but because of the time period that they're living in, they can't really marry because she's like lower class. She's not even really low class. It has to do with her birth.
Lower class people. You know what I'm talking about? Lower class people.
But hey, that's not actually that far off. Like people are still kind of have those ideas and feelings.
I'm not even kidding, bro.
Yeah. The one thing I will say that is, unlike Julian Fellowes' other movies, other content, it's not as character develop driven as the other ones. He actually references it's kind of weird. Like when you watch the show, it's six part series. He's in the beginning and at the end, which is kind of a weird thing. Like he comes in and he's sitting on a chair and he's like, "Hello, welcome everybody," and he like welcomes everybody to the episode, and he kind of recaps the previous episode.
Wow!
And then at the
nice
end
of him
of the episode, he like draws his little conclusions and stuff. I guess he really likes this author for some reason. I don't know. Anyway, but there's not like Julian Fellowes to me. When I think of him, I think of like bad guy becomes good guy becomes bad guy. Like in almost every show, he highlights like the differences and how people kind of develop, and they're not all good or not all bad, which I thought was kind of interesting. But it's a pretty good show. For some, if you want to burn 6 hours of your time, I don't recommend it, but I recommend it.
Okay. I like it. I like what you did there. Safe. You're playing it safe.
How about you?
If you like it, he recommends it. If you don't like it, he doesn't recommend it.
There
we
go.
So what's on my
What's on your mind?
What's on my mind, dude? I am gonna blow your mind with what's on my mind.
I'm excited.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. AMC Theaters, the what is the franchise? AMC, whatever the brand, has banned Universal Studios. From now on, they're not gonna play any Universal Studio movies on their theaters.
What?
So they banned them. AMC is like, hey, okay, people, everybody in the world, we're not gonna play any more Universal pictures. I'm gonna explain to you in a second. But I'm gonna hold you in anticipation. AMC bans Universal Studios, and then the next day Regal joins in, and it's like, you know what? We're also gonna ban Universal Studios. Regal theaters also won't show Universal Picture movies.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna explain to you what happened. I'm gonna explain to the audience out there. I mean, maybe by the time the audience hears this is gonna be much more well known. But what happened is that because of the pandemic, a lot of theaters had to shut down, right?
Okay.
And what a lot of studios are doing, like Columbia Pictures, Disney, they're holding on to their movies, and they're not going to release them until theaters open. They don't even have release dates for the movies.
Okay.
So, for example, James Bond, Mulan, like James Bond, Columbia Pictures, Mulan, Disney, we don't know when they're going to come out. They might come out by the end of the year, or they might come out next year, right? So that's what every major studio is doing. But Universal Pictures said, you know what, we're going to be smart, and we're actually going to release the movies that we're going to release during this time. We're actually going to release them not in theaters. We're not going to hold on to them. We're going to release them in video on demand, like Hulu or Amazon, whatever. You can buy them.
Right, but you have to pay for them.
But you have to pay for them. And AMC was like, whoa. No, Jose. Whatever the saying goes. Because that hurts if you know where they're coming from, or you
yeah, no, that makes sense because it hurts their pockets.
Yeah, I mean it hurts everyone's pocket. Columbia Pictures and Disney are not gonna mess with movie theaters because they make a lot of their money. All movies make most of their money when they release in theaters. So it's a symbiotic relationship.
Okay, well, let me stop you for a second, because I didn't watch it. I'm not a magic guy. I don't watch things with magic in them because it just turns me off.
Totes.
But
I hear you.
Disney Plus released Onward, which I didn't see that, and they released it on Disney Plus. So they didn't ban Disney, so why would they ban Universal but not Disney?
because they released the movie in theaters as well. So what Universal Pictures did is that the movie Trolls, which is another movie that I don't even care about that movie. It's a movie about trolls that play music or whatever. It's like a musical. Whatever it is, they did not. Universal Pictures was like, but they released it straight to video on demand, no theater release, because when Onward came out, movie theaters were not shut down still. Like Onward came out like 2 weeks before theaters got shut down, so Onward got a theatrical release. Okay. Then movie theaters get shut down, and in Disney it's like, hey, that's not our fault. We're just gonna go ahead and release it on video on demand as well, or streaming services as well, whatever. But Trolls for Universal Pictures is not going to have, or it came first. Maybe they would have had a theatrical release, but it came first on video on demand. Okay. A movie that was supposed to come out in theaters, and that they had deals with AMC, Regal, because all these people have deals to show these movies. Right, yeah. And so that's what happened. And AMC said, you know what, we're not gonna have this, because I think what's happening. Here's what I think is happening. I'm gonna get a little bit maybe conspiratorial here, but I don't know. I think I'm might be spot on, but whatever. So the movie theaters are a little bit scared of streaming services. Of course, since everyone and their mom is opening a theater. It's having or starting some kind of streaming service. Disney has it. Warner Brothers has streaming services now with HBO Max, whatever. Those are big studios. Those are two big studios. I don't know if any other studios have. What other studios have a streaming service? I don't think Universal Pictures doesn't have a streaming service. Columbia Pictures doesn't have a streaming service.
But they probably have deals with Hulu and Amazon.
Yeah, with all these peeps.
Guaranteed. Like, I haven't even researched it, but I'm sure that I know they're on Amazon.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. So anyway, so I think theaters are starting to how might you describe it? Like, flex their muscles a little bit and be like, hey,
take our stand.
You guys take their stand, because movie theaters are realizing or understand, and everyone understands that they do have a say on what's happening with the movie industry, because, like, as I mentioned before, most of the movies still made in movie theaters, so it's not like movie theaters don't matter. But if you pay attention to many directors and many of the people that are in the industry, they're talking about how movie theaters matter less and less, and how streaming services is the future. And obviously AMC, Regal, or all these movie theater franchises, they don't like that, because that means that their business is gonna be affected.
It makes sense. I mean, like, so when I saw it, like, so for example, Sonic the Hedgehog was on, and I think it was on Amazon now. I'm guessing it got a release. Yeah. It was at some point.
It got a theatrical release, and it made a lot of money on theaters.
Okay. So
it made like $200,000 on theaters.
200,000,
and half of
200,000.
I'm sorry, 200 million.
Oh, okay.
200 million. but half of that goes to movie theaters, I believe. Like 50%
goes to the sales, right?
Goes to the movie theaters.
And then it was also on Amazon, but you had to buy it to watch it, right?
Yeah.
For like $26.
Yeah, you have to pay full price.
Full price.
Yeah.
Which I'm not for. So I guess I could see a future in which there's no movie theaters, and for the first 8 weeks, I guess, I don't know, 8 weeks, let's say, you can purchase a movie on Amazon, the latest Marvel movie, the latest Batman movie, whatever it is, I don't know.
But what do you think about that, though? You said a future where there's no movie theaters. What do you think about that?
I think it's coming.
Because I don't like that. You said
like
it, and I wanted to slap you. I wanted to slap you across the screen.
How come?
And but I didn't. But I calmed myself, because I understand that you were just saying that's not what you want.
Why do you not foresee that happening?
No, I don't actually. I don't foresee it happening.
How come?
I mean, it could happen, but I don't foresee it happen, and I hope that it doesn't happen, because I like the experience of going to a movie theater and seeing it on the big screen and being with friends and family and whatnot.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I mean, you and I have seen all three of the new Star Wars trilogy movies together.
That's right. The new the new trilogy.
The new trilogy, yeah. So it is like
Can you imagine
not doing that? I guess if it does happen, it's not going to be anytime soon. But if it does happen soon, it's obviously because of world events.
Yeah. Yeah. I love going to movie theaters. I have my wife and we have a Cinemark membership, so we pay $10 a month, and then we get deals, and we get one ticket for $10 and whatever we want to watch. So we go to the movies like not every month, but like every other month.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, and I like that experience, so I hope that it doesn't go away. And I know that many in the biz, many directors have expressed that they don't want to mess with that. Like Christopher Nolan said, you can Google it. He said he doesn't understand. He was one of the first to be very vocal. He doesn't understand this impetus that some directors have with movies not being released on theaters and being released in streaming services instead. Christopher Nolan was like, no, I don't like that.
He's big on like IMAX.
Yeah.
He shoots in 70 millimeter film sometimes, I think, or something like that. So he's big on that technical side of it, and I could foresee there's certain things you can't emulate in like a home theater, right? You have to be in a seat in Regal theaters, in AMC with the surround sound. There is this
totally,
essence about it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little bit of an event when you go and see a movie in theaters, especially when it's a movie that have been anticipated for a while that you're looking forward to see.
I'm trying to think how that's going to affect. Have they said how long they're going to ban Universal Studios permanently?
I don't think so. I think they say permanently.
I'm trying to think.
But I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. I need to look it up and maybe look a little bit more.
Maybe
let me look it up real. Let me look it up real quick.
Okay. I was saying maybe our readers our listeners can get back to us and let us know. This could be a future correction.
Well, let's just get it right so that our listeners can get the information right as of right now. I'm gonna tell you. But what's interesting is that Universal has they released Trolls, right, on video on demand, but they said that they were not gonna do that with the Fast and the Furious franchise. That they were gonna wait.
Oh, for the movie. Okay, so it was more strategic than anything else.
But AMC was like, nope. Now you're gonna release your Fast and the Furious movies on our theaters. I'm sorry if that what I said just confused you. I'm saying how it happened, like how.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I followed.
Yeah. So okay. Anyway, so AMC Theater says it will no longer screen films made by Universal Pictures. A serious escalation of a dispute over the merits of releasing movies in theaters before allowing the public to watch them online. AMC CEO Adam Aron announced the ban in a letter to Universal chairman Donna Langley on Tuesday, telling her that the decision was triggered by a quote NBC Universal CEO Jeff Shell gave to the Wall Street Journal about the blockbuster digital success of Trolls World Tour. That's the movie about the trolls.
Where are you reading? Which we should probably reference the article.
This is CNN Business.
Okay.
I was gonna mention it at the end. I'm reading from an article at cn.com.
Okay.
But Shell, the Universal CEO, said that as soon as the theaters reopen, that he said we expect to release movies on both formats. That's what triggered AMC. That's what triggered AMC to be like, no.
Yep, that makes sense. But it makes sense now that I understand a little bit more of what they were saying. There's certain movies that are probably just gonna do better on a streaming format. And Trolls is probably one of them. I have no desire to see it. I will never see it. If I have children, they won't watch it. I'm sorry, Universal. You wasted your time.
Yeah. So wait, let me just tell. Yeah, so there's no mention at all on when this ends. It says this effective immediately. This is AMC. Effective immediately, AMC will no longer play any Universal movies in any of our theaters in the United States, Europe, or the Middle East. And he said, and then they added, "This is not some hollow or ill-considered threat, whatever that means."
Interesting. Yeah. I'm trying to think what franchises that would affect for me. I don't really think I watch too much from Universal.
I can't remember the last movie that I saw from Universal. Is Jurassic Park Universal?
I think maybe Steven Spielberg is specific to Universal. I don't know. I remember when I was younger, I would always go see Universal movies, like, Jurassic Park, all that stuff. But yeah, you're probably right. I think Jurassic Park is Universal. Well,
yeah.
Abdiel, what are you up to?
What's up?
Unless you,
Jurassic World is that's the only
Pictures,
thing that. But I go to Cinemark, and Cinemark hasn't said that they're gonna ban Universal Studio. We don't have. I mean, we have AMC here in San Francisco, but Cinemark it's the most proliferated chain. Okay, so wait. So there's another thing that I have on my mind.
Oh, please, yeah, sure.
Okay, PlayStation. I'm talking about PlayStation a lot. I said that I was gonna talk about it a lot. So they filed a patent.
Oh.
Before I say what the patent is for, I have to clarify. I have to say that many companies file patents, and those patents don't really amount to anything.
Yes.
And Sony does this all of the time. Sony actually is. I remember back when I was in high school, and my physics teacher talked to me about like Japanese ingenuity and blah 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 blah, and how Sony was known to like patent like anything that they saw that was possible to be patented. Like they saw someone wearing pants that had a USB connector to it, they would patent it, even if that's ours now. Or they would buy patents when they buy patents like left and right.
Can I? So anyway, can I take you down a little tangent?
Oh, please.
Sony has taken over the camera business. If you're gonna buy a camera, it's gonna be and it's video and photo, it's gonna be a Sony camera. They have
I have a Sony camera for the same reasons. Yeah, for photo and video.
But anyway, so sorry, Abdul, continue.
So they patent this PlayStation Robot Companion. And I'm going to show you a picture of this atrocity. And our listeners are going to have to go online, but I'm going to describe it to them. Can you see the picture? Can you see this thing?
Yeah, it looks like you drew it like when you were like a little kid.
How it sits next yeah. Can you see how it sits next to a person?
Uh-huh.
So if how it looks is not disturbing enough, I'm going to I'm actually going to explain to you from my own words what this thing is supposed to do. So first off, to describe it to our audience, it looks like a cloud, like a stuffed animal instead of an animal, it's like a cloud. Yeah. But then you have eyes and little arms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so this thing, what it's supposed to do is that people are supposed to, if this gets to the market, you buy it, you sit it next to you while you play video games or watch TV, and the robot will be affected by your emotional reaction to the video game or the movie.
I'm already not interested.
And depending on your reaction, the robot will give you like feedback, or he will cheer you on or be sad for you, and you're also going to be able to play with it. And the patent says that the goal and the purpose of the robot is that people will feel more likely to play the video game or watch a movie because they want to experience it with the robot. I suppose if they didn't have the robot, they were alone, they're not going to be as motivated. They wouldn't be as motivated, essentially. And then the robot is going to motivate people to play more because they just want to experience it with the robot.
I could see that working in like a very specific
in like a very specific dystopian future,
maybe
dystopian sci-fi movie.
certain cultures, I think certain cultures in other areas, maybe it would be successful in the United States. I don't know, but I could foresee that being successful in certain cultures that are very big into anime and love that kind of stuff.
Okay, like they're into the romantic idea of developing like feelings for a robot.
If you want to call it romantic, yeah.
Well, not romantic. I meant romantic in the more the general sense, not the attractive, not the sexually attracted romantic version. I mean more like romanticism.
The ideology of like
ideology.
yeah.
Ideology.
Okay,
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, something like because you know how there's movies or like you said anime where there's a robot and then the robot develops feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even in The Office, there's that episode with Michael Scott where he pretends he's a robot and he keeps pretending until someone removes his batteries, and then when they remove his battery, he ends by saying, "I was just learning to love," and then he shuts down. It's a good episode.
Oh,
and then I love Michael Scott's face when he does it too because he thinks he's being so funny, and I mean in reality he is being very funny. He's making me laugh. Okay, so I just that was on my mind. It's a little bit of news about the robot and whatnot and the AMC stuff. So interesting stuff to laugh at and whatnot.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. What are you doing, Sean? What's going on? What are you up to?
Okay, so in a previous episode, I referenced an email I received from DJI, which is the primary drone company on the global market. They released their drone. You can now purchase it. It's a Mavic Air 2, which is pretty much what everyone was saying was going to be. Price point is $799. Okay. Oh, sorry. Go. What were you saying?
So this is it's more of a consumer.
Oh yeah, very much consumer. Very much consumer. So let me give you a little bit of the specs here. The camera is a 1/2-inch sensor, which is a scale up from the 2/3 inch sensor of the previous model. It shoots 4K video at 60 frames a second, which is something that the Mavic series had not yet had before. And their Phantom series had the 4K at 60 frames a second, and their Inspire series did too. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, okay, I just want to buy a drone. I just want to fly a drone. I have $500 to $700 of money I can spend on a drone. This is the drone. This is the drone to get. The larger sensor is good. You know, nowadays someone can get like a little tiny camera and it has 4K footage and it looks really good like on a phone and you put it on your TV, it looks really good. Well, what's happening is that's basically like, I'll call it like digital magic. You know, it's not like the data being put onto that little tiny camera is very, very minimal and they're able to simulate or create 4K, I should say. They're not simulating, they're creating 4K through various means. Maybe they're manipulating digital pixels, maybe they're combining pixels, you know, whatever.
So yeah, so I think that that's what they called, I believe it that it's not native 4K. It's upscaled 4K.
Yeah.
Basically, I think that's the term that they use.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the larger the sensor on your camera, more than likely, the better your footage will be, possibly because you're going to get more dynamic range in your colors. See, what happens is, like, you'll take the Phantom, which had, like, the original Phantoms had a smaller camera. It was, like, 1 inch or something like that. No, not 1 inch. It was less than 1/2 an inch or whatever. And the Mavic, all the Mavic cameras at one point had, like, a 2/3. And you would take that into post. Let's say you took it into Adobe Premiere Pro, some editing software, whatever it was called. And it would just fall to pieces. You couldn't manipulate the colors. You couldn't add any color grading onto it. it would just immediately you could tell that something was wrong. If you were to drop what they call a LUT onto it, which is basically like a color grading onto it, it was all pixelated. Basically you had to take the footage in as it was. So you could they have presets if you wanted to use one of the presets when you're filming it, but you have to make sure you get that preset right to match whatever color grading you're gonna get later in post. So anyway, not to go too deep into that, but if you have $700 worth to spend, if you have more, if you have like let's say $1,200 to $1,500, do not get this drone. It's not what you're looking for.
It's a piece of garbage.
It's not a piece of garbage, but it's not what you're gonna get. Like there's better out there.
Okay. So yeah, and what you said about the image being 4K but not really 4K and whatnot, and which it is really some kind of it's something that's happening in the back end. Technically, they're upscaling the image. We can actually see that ourselves when we use Photoshop. You can take a picture that is say 180p resolution, and you can open it up in a canvas that's 4K, and so you're gonna have like a really tiny picture in the 4K canvas.
Right.
But then you can actually scale the picture so that it takes the entire canvas of the 4K, and the picture will scale, and Photoshop will add pixels to make it look not as bad.
Right.
So that's what they're doing with this cameras and this. They do the same thing with video games and stuff like that, where it's like the picture is not natively, or the image is not natively 4K. They're really stretching it and then adding in some pixels to make it look to make it technically 4K, but it's not really a true 4K quality.
And the sad thing is, like, that's just kind of where the market's headed. But like, a lot of people want more than 4K. They want 6K. They want 8K. Man, you don't. Which is funny. You don't need it. Yeah. You don't need any of that. You don't need that. 4K, yeah. Because there's some good 4K stuff out there. But anyway, sorry, Abdi, what were you saying?
Yeah, because 8K. Does anybody has an 8K TV? Who has an 8K TV?
Bill Gates.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's that is something interesting. How the format is really, from a technical standpoint, the people that are working on this formats and stuff, they're really making really fast advancement, but they're like kind of a little bit too fast. People are unable to catch up, because it's like, what, am I gonna buy a new TV every year because every year you're adding 1,000 pixels to the image? Can't do that.
Can't do it. Well, Abdiel, what are you up to?
So I've been drawing this past week. I've been working on an animation. You've seen some of it already. You've seen the storyboard. I'm doing an animation for the show. I'm not gonna spoil it. We'll wait until it's released. It might take a while because I need to brush up on my drawing skills. So that's what I've been doing. I've been looking up tutorials on YouTube on how to draw, and then just working at it. I'm drawing every day because that's like how to draw 101. Drawing is a skill like any other skill. And to improve, you have to practice. So just drawing every day. I'm setting up a clock or a timer for 6 hours, and I'm just drawing for 6 hours every day.
Wow.
Of course, I'm doing that because we are on lockdown. If we were not on lockdown, then I might not be dedicating that. I definitely would not be dedicating that much time. But yeah, I do want to take advantage of the time and just kind of improve really quick so that I can get that animation up there looking decent. Because I started working on it. The thing is, here's the thing is, Sean. Here's the thing. I know you're thinking. I can see your face, and I can see your thoughts, and I can see your heart. And here's the thing. I started working on the storyboard and the animation, and I started making drawings, and I started realizing that I'm like, I can't do this. I don't have the necessary skills in drawing to be able to make this be decent. I can make it look like one of those YouTube videos that is like weird and very quirky and doesn't make a lot of sense. But I didn't want to go that route. I want to still make it that it looks like something that you could like see on TV or on a commercial or something. Maybe not to that level, but close. So if I'm gonna do it, I want to do it right.
What's your ETA on the drawing? I mean, on the video.
Animation.
Yeah,
it's probably gonna be about a month or a month and a half if I'm being completely honest with you, because the way that I'm scheduling it in my mind is that I'm gonna spend the next 2 weeks just drawing every day for 6 hours, like I said, and then I'm gonna be productive because I'm not just gonna draw whatever comes to my mind. I'm actually gonna be drawing a lot of art for the promos that we do every time we release. So if people have been following us on social media, every time we release a video, we'd release a promo art, and it's a pixelated image of us, and it's always something different. But so I'm changing that. It's not going to be pixelated anymore. It's actually going to be drawings. It's the same idea, same image of us in a table. I'm going to add some things though, and I'm going to make drawings over and over again, different drawings of us doing different things for future episodes. So just to get a little bit of a library there. And I'm gonna do that for like the next 2 weeks, and then, or maybe less. We'll see. The moment that I feel like I'm like, okay, I got, because I used to actually draw pretty well, but then I haven't drawn in like 7 years, and so I'm kind of getting back on the horse. And once I get it, then I'm gonna start working on it, and then at the moment that I start working on it from where I actually start doing all the drawings for the animation to the time where I finish, where the animation is full. It's over. It's released. It's gonna be like 3 weeks.
Okay.
So we'll see.
I'm looking forward to it. Okay. Even if it's bad drawing, I feel like content right now is content. But I'm not like an artiste in that sense.
Yeah.
I don't draw.
Yeah. Well, I would actually the reason why I want to do a good job too is because I want to use it for my portfolio and for my business. That I would like to start by doing commercials and advertisement for other people and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
No, makes sense.
We'll see, man.
What are you looking forward to, Abdiel?
I'm looking forward to the Corona ending, bro. So and probably people are tired of hearing about this. But here in San Francisco, the mayor, or was it the mayor? The governor just said that, or actually the mayor, I think. I don't know. The governor or the mayor, whoever, said that they were going to extend the lockdown until the end of May.
Okay, I heard this.
But then, yeah. But then I work for a university, and the next semester starts mid-June. So that means that I'm going to continue to be out of work until mid-June, so that's like a month and a half, and that's not a big deal. Like my wife and I, we're not really suffering financially or anything. This actually has been pretty nice vacations actually, but still I'm looking forward to that ending and to be able to just kind of live a quote unquote normal life, be able to go out there, go to movie theaters. As I said in the beginning, I like going to movie theaters. And going to restaurants and stuff or whatever. Yeah. The normal stuff. Simple stuff. Well, that's one thing. But then I'm also looking forward to The Mandalorian. Season 2 is going to come out October 2020. So that's going to be here soon in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Time continues.
2020 is like almost halfway done.
Yeah. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
It's crazy. These past 2 months have just flown by in a blink of an eye. It's past 2 months on lockdown.
It's kind of just morphed into like one day. Mm-hmm. Like one long day. Like, oh man.
Totally.
I used to be like really good about sleeping. Like I'd go to sleep like at 8:30 on the dot. And now I've just fallen into this really bad habit of like, I can make it up tomorrow if I don't go to sleep.
Yeah. Same here. My wife and I were going to bed like at 12 and 1 at one point. but we have tried to improve a little bit on that. We've gone back to going to sleep at 11.
This is, it's an improvement.
Which is not terrible. It's
Yeah.
not an improvement. But we got to go back down to 10 because when we go back to... Well, she's working already, but she only works 2 days a week.
Oh, okay.
So during those 2 days, she does go to sleep a little bit earlier. But then when I go back to work, I have to definitely go to bed at 10 or whatnot. But yeah. But I hear you, bro. I hear you.
Well, one of the things I wanted to mention in the podcast before we close was I wanted to reach out to our listeners for ideas of where myself and Abdiel and possibly even our wives, obviously our wives will be there, they could probably be in the podcast if they want to be, go for not live podcast but a off-site podcast. Is that what we might call it?
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We can call it that.
Like
well, we could even call it, it's an off-site podcast, but it would actually be on-site because then we normally
That's
record
true, huh?
on different places, so we would actually record on the same room if we go somewhere.
But on the docket right now we have probably somewhere in Paso Robles. I'm going to try to reach out to some different vendors. No doubt, I think someone will bite on us recording an episode. One of the wineries down in the San Luis Obispo area, or one of the restaurants. There's a brewery out there that I'm thinking might be interested. But we'll see.
Well, I would love to go to a brewery.
We'll see. I would like to just say, hey, if any of the listeners have any ideas of where Sean and Abs can go and record an episode, give us some ideas.
Yeah. Maybe we can make some kind of... I know that in Patreon, you can make what's that called? Like a poll, and you can give options, and the people can vote.
Oh, I like it. It's a good idea.
So maybe that's something for the future.
Yeah,
we can work on that, and we can make it free too. Like some things in Patreon, you can make it. You can put it behind like a paywall, but if we do it, we would make it free.
Yeah.
So anyone could just go there, and we would open up to the public too. So anyone really with the link could just go there and vote.
I like it. I think it's a good idea.
Okay. Let's work on that then. We'll maybe announce it on the next episode. Okay, so do you have anything to add or anything you're looking forward to?
No. That's it.
No? Okay, so this is going to be a short episode of Tea Talk. So I hope you enjoy. Like I said before, thank you for listening. Your time is precious. Thank you for dedicating it to some of it to listening to this podcast. Let's see what else. I think that's about it. I'll let the closing credits say the rest of it.
Thank you for joining us on
Okay.
Teapot Podcast.
There we go. Teapot Podcast. What?
I don't know.
I'm gonna let you do that again.
Tea Talk Podcast. It is a little bit of a
There
tongue
we go.
twister. Tea Talk Podcast.
It is a little bit. Sometimes I do. I have to, like, when I say tea talk, I have to like slow down a little bit because I tend to talk really fast, and I have to like really enunciate.
Man, I should probably even say
Tea
Tea Talk Productions, not podcast. Tea Talk Productions.
Well, this is Tea Talk Podcast.
It is, yeah.
It's brought to you
Brought
by
to you
Tea
by
Talk
Tea Talk
Productions.
Productions. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
We'll get it right
There we go.
eventually.
We'll get it right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one.
We're sad to